All right, let me take a sip here. I'm having a gin and pineapple juice. What are you having?
I've had a couple of martinis, 1.5 martinis, so I'm in good shape here.
Good shape? All right, well,
Yeah.
we are lubricated here for another episode of the wild and exotic adventures of a WASP, Don Anderson. And I think we have a few stories about high school. A little story about some timpani.
Right. You know, high school was a long, long time ago. We're talking about back in the 40s. I graduated from high school in 1950, so these are kind of old stories, but they're still kind of fun. The first one has to do with the high school marching band. I didn't play high school football, but a friend of mine was in the band. He was a drummer. And he said, you know, in the marching band, we're looking for somebody who can play the cymbals. And I said, well, I think I can, you know, I have enough rhythm. I can get the beat, clash, 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 clash. He said, that's fine. We march, you know, whenever the left foot hits, you play the cymbal. I said, okay, but he said, the only thing that's a little tricky is when they play the Star Spangled Banner, because then you have to come in at certain times. So I said, okay, whenever I'm supposed to come in, you nod at me. And he said, okay. So the first time I happened to, oh, Jose, can you see? He nodded. I clashed the cymbals about a beat behind. So, oh, Jose, can you see what? And then I would come with the cymbals. So every time we were just a half beat behind. So finally the band director came and said, look, Anderson, we gave you a uniform. I think we want that uniform back now because we got another guy who knows enough to play the cymbals at the right time. So that was the end of my musical career as a cymbal player in high school.
But you did go on to play the spoons.
I did go on to play the spoons. I became rather proficient at playing the spoons. And I still am on those rare occasions when I have a chance to do it. But
going for
not so much anymore.
Not so much. Well, maybe at a future podcast we can do a little spoon, a little ukulele.
That'd be great.
What else is there?
Let's work on that.
There's a few other musical performances.
You know, I can play the tuba part in any song on my mouth with spoons. I'll demonstrate that to you.
Okay, that would be a good. Everyone out there listening, you have something really to look forward to.
Right. So
now we have another little episode.
Right. This is related. I was in high school, and my father belonged to an organization called the Aeolian Male Chorus. It was a Swedish singing society.
Aeolian?
The Aeolian Male Chorus.
Like the mode. There's a mode. I think that's a... What does Aeolian stand for?
I'm not sure what that means, but that was the name of the group.
Okay.
And they, back in those days in Jamestown, because of the heavy Swedish population, at the Winter Garden Theater, they would show 2 Swedish movies, I think on Friday and Saturday nights. And during the intermission, the Aeolian Male Chorus would sing Swedish songs. Mm-hmm. So that was a big deal. So they made a little money doing that. So they bought some property up near Asheville, New York, and they built a summer camp. And we would go up there every weekend and have a good time. There was a Goose Creek. I built rafts on that. It was just a wonderful place to spend your childhood. But the funny story is that they built an outhouse. Didn't have sewers back then, but they built an outhouse. On one side was the ladies, on the other side were the men's.
It was one hole.
One building, little storage thing in the middle, women one end.
But one pit underneath the whole thing?
One pit underneath the whole thing. So one of the guys in the Aeolian Male Chorus was a bit of a joker. So he went up there and he got a speaker. And he hung it under the commodes in the women's side. And then he got a microphone. He would wait until a woman went in there to use the bathroom. And then he would say in the microphone, would you mind moving over, lady? We're painting under this one. So the women would come out all flustered, flapping their skirts, and we thought that was great fun. And that went on for almost a whole summer before people said to Johnny, "Get that thing out of there! You're driving everybody nuts with it."
You don't think the women caught on after a while?
Well, anybody who'd been there before knew it, but new people would go in there, and he always liked to get new people who'd never been there before. Would you mind moving over, lady? We're painting under this one.
Those Swedes,
Yeah, those
always
three.
up to something.
Yep.